Hi everyone, Chris Natzke here with Black Belt Leadership Speaking and Coaching with your Mind of a Champion tip of the week. You know, quite a while ago, I had one of my old friends reach out to me and ask me to do a little blurb here on my blog on the idea of sacrifice. And as I was thinking about this and I was preparing to do this video, I couldn't help but notice that the word sacrifice had the same root as the word sacred. And I started thinking about the times in my life, as well as the times in the lives of the people that are closest to me and my students and clients and kids. And probably some of the richest times in my life were when I was making sacrifices and then came out on the other side. And it was because it was something that inside of myself I was sacrificing for something that I really held sacred. And I guess when that was happening, when we make that translation, those sacrifices don't come from a standpoint of obligation. They actually come from a deep sense of joy that we're willing to do the work because it's something that means so much to us. You know, and it becomes something that rather than becoming or being a have to in our life, it literally becomes a get to, a want to that we get to. And we all know these stories, right? We've had them in our own lives, of course, but you know, we hear about the mother who gets up early every morning to go to her first of two jobs so she can keep a roof over her kid's head. We hear about the teachers who buy school supplies for their students out of their own money so that they can make that sacrifice so the kids have a great learning environment. We hear about our great first responders who put themselves in harm's way in order to help and save people they don't even know just because it's their duty. And then we can think about all the people in our own lives who have made sacrifices for us to get us where we need to be. You know, one of the things that I've really thought also about sacrifice is that it's really something, it's a decision we make, and it can be really the silver bullet, if you will. It's the magic formula in terms of us really getting to where we want to go. I mean, I reflect back on my own life and career, and I think of, you know, numerous athletes that I worked with, or martial artists, or even noticing and working with business people who had immense talent, immense skill, but they never got to where they really could because they just weren't willing to make the sacrifice. Whereas people with much less talent or skill and opportunity did, because they just kept showing up, right? They just kept showing up. And, you know, when I think about in my own life, I mean, certainly, you know, when I won a national championship in Taekwondo back in the late 90s, one of the reasons that it was so special to me was because of all the sacrifices I had made to get to that point, or all the numerous students that I've seen get to black belt. And when I tie that belt around them, in my mind, I'm starting to think about all the hardships and the sacrifices that they made. And then also, you know, you think about your own kids, if you have them, and when they have the success, but you know that they got there because they really learned the idea of sacrifice and they embraced it in a joyful way. You know, it really brings it in a whole different context, right? And so that word sacrifice, there is a sacredness to it when we look at it in that way. And I literally just this weekend heard this great quote on a video by Tony Robbins, and he said that people are awarded in public for things they've been doing for years in private. Think about that. Think about of all the times that you've worked hard and you've sacrificed and you finally got the reward, whether it was acknowledged publicly or not, but it came as a result of sacrifice. And so my challenge for all of us, myself included this week, is where do we have some opportunities to really dive into and really lean into the things that are most sacred to us, and where are we willing to make those sacrifices to make it happen? And where can we change our mindset so that sacrifice isn't necessarily a bad thing, even though it might take us out of our comfort zone and make us uncomfortable, but we actually lean into it with a sense of joy because we know it allows us to do the work we're meant to do and allow us to live the lives that we choose to live. So anyway, that was my little ditty for you today. Think about reframing this idea of sacrifice and where you have to do that in your life, and look at it from a standpoint of doing it for something that you hold sacred in your life. So there you have it, my friends. This has been Chris Natzke with Black Belt Leadership Speaking and Coaching. Oh, and by the way, I've got an event coming up with three other amazing speakers. We're calling the series of success. and it's going to be on February 25th. So take a look in the comments below. I'm going to leave the link, but would love to have you join us for this. It's going to be a great time, and it's going to be a great way for you to continue to build momentum in the new year in bringing dynamic leadership and prosperity and great vision for your life, and maybe even identifying where you can make some real joyful sacrifice to get what you want in 2021 and beyond. So once again, this is Chris Natzke with Black Belt Leadership Speaking and Coaching, and I'll see you next time on the Mind of a Champion Tip of the Week.